Today, we're going to talk about Lucy Diggs Slowe, a name you might not know, but you absolutely should. She was a powerhouse in American education, a national champion athlete, and a builder of institutions. But for some reason, her incredible story has been mostly, well, unknown. So let's dive into the blueprint of her amazing life.
This sentence right here, this was her guiding star. For Lucy Diggs Slowe, education was never just about books and tests. It was about unlocking a person's true potential. It was about preparing Black women not just to understand the world, but to go out and make their own unique mark on it. And that belief, that was the foundation for everything she would go on to build.
And wow, what a builder she was. The truly mind-blowing thing about this timeline is just the sheer speed of her achievements. I mean, think about it. In a little over 10 years, she co-founds the very first sorority for Black women, then becomes a national sports champion, then she creates an entirely new kind of school, and then becomes the first Black woman to be a dean at any university in America. It's just a breathtaking run of firsts. So how did this incredible journey even begin? Well, her story starts with loss, but right from the get-go, it's defined by this relentless drive for education and a better life.
Lucy Diggs Slowe was born in Virginia, but by the time she was just 6 years old, both of her parents had passed away. Now, the historical records we have don't give us details on how they died, but they make one thing crystal clear. Her aunt, Martha Price, made a decision that changed everything. She moved the family to Baltimore for one reason: better schools. That single choice really set the stage for everything that was to come. So when she gets to Howard University, things really take off. Of course, she was a brilliant student, graduated top of her class. But she was doing more than just studying. She was watching. She was analyzing how the university was run, seeing the gaps, and already thinking about how to build systems that would actually support and empower the women on campus.
After graduating from Howard, Slowe didn't just go out and find a job. No, she began to deliberately build a career. Every step was calculated to position her as a true architect in the world of education.
You can see the strategy here, right? She starts as a high school teacher, goes and gets her master's from a top school like Columbia, and then she takes on this massive challenge. She doesn't just become a principal. She organizes the very first junior high for Black students in Washington, D.C. She designed the curriculum, she trained the teachers, she literally built it from scratch.
And here's what's just so amazing. It shows her incredible range. While she's building this impressive career in education, she's also, just completely dominating on the tennis court. In 1917, she won the American Tennis Association's national title. That made her the first Black woman to win a major national championship in any sport. She didn't stop there either. She won 17 titles in her career, a true leader in every sense of the word.
Then, in 1922, she returned to where it all began, for what would become her most famous role. Howard University named her its very first Dean of Women, and that position instantly made her a national pioneer. And as Dean, she was a force of nature from day one. She wasn't some figurehead sitting in an office. She was an architect of change. She fought for and secured new dorms, creating a dedicated space for women on campus. She started a student league to give women a real say in how things were run. She even got rid of the old stuffy chaperone system and replaced it with supportive mentors for freshmen. Her vision was so powerful, it literally became the model for other Black colleges all over the country.
But for Lucy Diggs Slowe, one campus was never going to be enough. She knew the power of connection, of networks. So she took her skills as an institution builder and went national, creating powerful organizations for Black women.
I mean, just look at this list. Co-founder of Alpha Kappa Alpha, first president of the National Association of College Women, co-founder of an association for her fellow deans, and she was a co-organizer of the National Council of Negro Women, working right alongside the legendary Mary McLeod Bethune. Each one of these was another crucial network for support, activism, and career advancement for educated Black women across America.
But being a powerful, trailblazing Black woman in the 1920s and 30s came with huge challenges. And ironically, her toughest fights weren't with outsiders, but with people inside the very institution she loved and was trying to build up.
This slide really tells you everything you need to know. It's like a tale of two bosses. When she was hired by President Durkee, she was promised the world: equal pay, equal power, a seat at the table with the male deans. But when a new president, Mordecai Johnson, took over, everything changed. He basically launched a campaign to undermine her authority, cutting her out of key meetings, denying her budget, and trying to sideline her at every turn. And this wasn't just some personality clash. This was straight-up, documented institutional sexism.
We have the records. In 1925, her salary was $200 less than the other deans. Why? Simply because she was a woman. She was fighting for basic professional equity.
And then the conflict got deeply personal. President Johnson tried to force her to live in a dorm on campus, a rule that didn't apply to any of the male deans. This was a direct attack on the home and the life she had built for over 25 years with her partner, the playwright Mary Burrell. Slowe wasn't having it. She fought back, hard, even taking her case to the public.
The constant grinding stress of these fights, both professional and personal, took a terrible toll on her health. In fact, one scholar looking back at her life makes this incredibly powerful claim that what she really died from was sexism, racism, and classism. The unending battle just wore her down.
So that brings up a really big question. How does someone this important, this foundational, become, as one writer put it, mostly unknown? Her legacy is a really complicated story of being honored on one hand and almost erased on the other.
And this chart shows that paradox perfectly. At Howard University, there's a Slowe Hall, there's a Slowe Way. The institution honors her. And yet, for decades, her story was just gone from the larger history books. It's really only now, through the work of modern scholars, that her full, complex story is finally coming back into the light.
She passed away from kidney failure at the tragically young age of 52. And to give you one last idea of the relentless pressure she was under, just 1 month before she died, while she was sick in bed, President Johnson sent someone to her bedside with an ultimatum. Come back to work in 24 hours or you're fired.
So that leaves us with this really profound question to think about. What is the legacy of a leader who poured her entire life into building up an institution, while at the very same time having to fight that institution tooth and nail for her own respect and her own value?
Perhaps the best way to end is with her own words. In a letter to her partner Mary, she once wrote, "There are too many of me for me to know each one." And that just says it all, doesn't it? The scholar, the champion, the administrator, the advocate, the partner. She was a true architect of opportunity, and we are only now, finally, beginning to understand the full scope of her incredible design.